Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Mental Health Awareness Week 2021 series. I am delighted to be joined by Amy Priest, one of our great This Can Happen ambassadors. Amy, welcome.
Thank you, Zoe. It's really lovely to be chatting to you today.
Absolutely. Now, Amy, I want to, I understand from a previous conversation that you and I have had that you put nature in your diary for your mental health every Friday afternoon. So tell me a little bit more about why you do that and how that came about.
Sure. Okay. Well, it's every other Friday afternoon. I wish it was every Friday afternoon. But no, it came about in kind of late last year, after what was a very, very tricky year for everyone. I realised that I wasn't setting enough space and time to reflect and give myself space to think. So I kind of spoke to my therapist at the time, and things were building up. I was struggling with depression, struggling with anxiety, and definitely at risk of burning out. And so I was chatting to her, and she said, "You're an introvert. You need to make time to be with yourself and build your energy up, and where do you kind of find that you get your energy from?" And I was chatting to her, and I said, "Well, actually, I find that going out for a walk with my dog and, being in the forest, listening to the bird song, seeing the sun come through the trees, I find I get a lot of energy through that." So I spoke to my manager and I said, if things don't change, I'm going to be signed off. So I need to start doing things a bit differently. And so that's when it kind of came about. And my manager was incredibly happy that I'd kind of come to her knowing what I needed to do. That was a start. That I'd already had the conversations with my therapist, and that I'd done some thinking around, what needed to change. And so, sorry, there's a lot of wind. But there's that kind of came into play about November time last year, and I carve out every Friday afternoon. I finish at about 2 o'clock. And then go for a walk with Jarvis, my dog. I'm in my garden today because of the stability of being on camera with yourself. But Jarvis is here. He's come to say hello. There you go.
Oh, hello, Jarvis. Gorgeous.
He's looking for a biscuit. So I might give him one.
Love, please do. Please do. So while you're giving him a biscuit, so it goes into your diary so people know they can't book you for meetings and everything? Do you sign that time out and that is you time?
I do. From 2 o'clock, I have an out of office on, and I have an out of office marked out in my diary, so nobody can book me that time, apart from you, Zoe. But we're out in nature, so it's okay. But yeah, I think it's really good to be clear with people, that you're not free, and even if you've got deadlines coming up, it's really, really critical for you to make that time for yourself. And one of the things that I said to my manager at the time was that I'm very happy to work different hours in the week, and on some occasions, if I have to pick up a little bit of work on a weekend, I'm comfortable doing that. Nobody's then forcing me to do it. I'm all right with it. Make choice. But equally, I need to try and make sure that I'm still making time for myself. So every other Friday, finish at 2, get myself out the house. I leave my work phone in the office, in the home office, and I'm on out of office until Monday.
Brilliant. And can I ask you, do you think that actually doing this makes you more effective at work?
Yes, 100%. So typically I'll be listening to a podcast or something on thought leadership, or ways to set better boundaries at work. Jarvis is digging into my coat because he thinks I've got treats with me. But it's development time as much as it is reflective time. It helps me develop as well. So I take whatever I've learned on Friday, even if it is just listening to my own thoughts or listening to a podcast, and I'll take that into work on Monday and put it into practice, hopefully, sometimes.
Brilliant. No, I think that's great. And Amy, a real inspiration for other people listening, that you had the strength and determination to do this, and you went to your manager, as you said, not just with a concern, but with an action. And I think that really helps as well. So I'd say sort of one last message then to anyone who's watching this and thinking, okay, I think that's a really good plan for me as well. What would you advise them to do with regards to their manager?
Well, I think the first step is to acknowledge that asking for help or asking for time out isn't a sign of weakness. It's something that, I was really struggling with at the time to build up the confidence and talk to my manager about it, because even though I'm a mental health advocate and even though I talk about it all the time, plucking up the courage to say to your manager, I'm struggling, that is really hard to do. And I kind of started with that, I don't want, the reason why I've not brought this up sooner is because I've been battling with this and this, but I really want to take a kind of stance, and I want to put, resilience coping mechanisms in place. I want to be stronger, and this is what I need. And I want to see if we can trial this, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then we'll try something else. But can we test it out to see if it will? Just be flexible again with your manager, and if there's work that needs to be done, we'll get it done, and prioritize. That's the key. Making sure that you prioritize and that you say no when you can, and whatnot, but asking for time out, and setting boundaries and getting out into nature, and building that energy up again, and that giving your brain that time to reflect and think about things. It's just that headspace that we all need. So certainly would recommend it to anyone. And if you want to chat to me about it a bit more, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Always happy to chat.
Wonderful. Amy, thank you so much for sharing this sort of really invaluable lesson and advice to everybody. Thank you so much for joining This Can Happen during Mental Health Awareness Week. Really appreciate it. And now I'm going to leave you so that you can get on with your very valuable time for yourself that you've put aside. Thanks, Amy, for joining us.
Thanks, Zoe. Thanks for all you do. Take care.